Happy Wednesday, all, and welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, garbage, compost, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fong. This week's episode, BYOS, Bring Your Own Stuff, and how to ditch disposables while you're on the go. So a quick reminder that this show is run on your questions, so make sure on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov. All right. So every week we are joined by our wonderful co-host, Pat. Hey, what's up, Pat?
Hey, Becca. How's it going? Good to see you.
It's going good. Awesome. So it's Plastic-Free July. So we are going to be doing another question about ditching disposables, right? Ditching single-use plastic is what Plastic-Free July is all about. So
that's right. Hey, that's a lot of what we do here at SPU. We try to help people reduce their plastic use, switch to more durables and reusables. So it's all about BYOB this week.
Absolutely. All right.
So the question is from our Ask Evelyn inbox. Question comes in. I was wondering if disposable utensils were still allowed in Seattle. When I get food to go, sometimes I get them with my order. Sometimes they ask if I want them, and sometimes I don't. I thought that they were banned, like plastic straws in Seattle, but with COVID, things have changed, and I'm eating more food out and to go. So please help. Thanks, Nusha. So you want to give the quick answer to that, Becca?
Absolutely. So quick answer is that single-use compostable, which is always kind of hard to read here, which my camera's not going to focus on, single-use compostable utensils are allowed in Seattle. We've definitely seen an uptick of that as COVID has happened, and we were definitely, we weren't really sure about how to do things. But really the best thing to do is to, only take them if you really need them. So compostable single-use allowed, disposable plastic not allowed.
Right. Yeah. Disposable plastics were disallowed in 2018. For a while, they were exempt through our packaging requirements law in Seattle, but now they are disallowed. Of course, during COVID, as you mentioned, the details are such that there were supply issues for some restaurants, for some stores. They couldn't get the right type of bags at the grocery store, or at restaurants, they couldn't get the right forks and such that they had been normally getting. So right now, we're in a period where it's still required, and there's still compliance issues around it, but there's not really the enforcement happening. We're not out there, trying to force restaurants to abide by the requirements because of the mayor's state of emergency. It's a proclamation that was done at the mayor level and at the governor's level. So while those state of emergency proclamations are in place, we are not doing enforcement, and that's part of the deal. Of course, we encourage it. We still see it. We still see a lot of restaurants and businesses totally compliant and using the right product. And, every week, every now, all the time, things are opening up more. Supply chains are being reestablished. And we're going to begin to see, at some point, the removal of that proclamation of emergencies so that things will go back into effect and enforcement will happen again. I think that, the push on this show, though, is to just jump to durables, just
Absolutely.
use reusables. It's like the difference between a plastic fork and a compostable fork is different, but it's still a single use. And so we want to see reusables and durables.
Absolutely. And I think so, a good way to go is to use the compostable utensils and then make sure that they go into the compost when you're done using them. A better option is, even though they are intended for single use, doesn't mean that they need to be single use. One thing that I do is I've got a whole bag of single use stuff that I've been washing, and I just put them straight up right into the bag, and I keep that on hand so I can use them again and again.
I got me a little Dairy Queen
Nice.
spoon here. It's very small. It's easy to just put in a pocket if you want to or whatever. And you can also get these little sets of durables. You can get, this is a straw set, that has a little pipe cleaner mixed in with it. There's also these little travel sets that you can get where you get all three utensils in one. And it just kind of can slide into your backpack or purse or whatever. And just have it handy wherever you. And you can wash it when you get home. Just spoon clean. You kind of mouth clean, one last bite, and then you're good to go. You give it a quick clean at home, and you'll be on your way.
Absolutely. So that's definitely the best option, is to have a mess kit. So I have a whole bunch of things. I have my intended single use that I've made durables. I just wash them up. I also have some forks from my kitchen. that are in the bag as well. They're in the mix. Pat, you've got all your awesome stuff. And I actually have, because, you know, I've got a family. It's like I have a whole kind of mess kit that I keep in my car because you never know. I mean,
Becca, you are always ready to belly up to a potluck. Am I right?
It is totally true. I mean, those of you who've watched the show know that Pat and I are never going to miss.
I'm right behind you in line.
An eating opportunity.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So,
that's why I'm back at the office, but there have been no potlucks here in the last week or two I've been here, and I can't believe it. I'm really ready for the potlucks, but they'll come.
Exactly. Time. So it's good for the environment. You're using, you know, less resources when you're getting rid of single-use stuff. But when you use it over and over, you're also ready for any delicious things that happen to come your way. So I think the best point too, Pat, is that you want it to be super convenient, right? So like, what's one of the things that you feel has been super useful for you to have that has helped you really replace single-use stuff?
Well, just taking one of these little guys you get, again, this is a single-use spork, I guess it is, and just put it in your bag and put it, you know, so you know where it is, you know, its spot. It's kind of like those, you know, organizing the home or whatever. It's like, it has its place, it's in its place, and you know where to grab it when you need it and then get it back there clean when you're done with it. That's just kind of like the most basic strategy, I would say, just having it handy and convenient, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this mess kit, it seems like a lot, but what it does is it's created a place to put things so they're easy to use and accessible. But absolutely, just go ahead and throw that stuff in whatever bag you've got, throw them in the car. That's super helpful.
Yeah, a lot of people have, you know, begun using the reusable plastic bags, of course, and so those are great. And that's, a lot of folks have begun, of course, to do that again, now that the stores are totally fine with people bringing in their bags again. So that's kind of coming back, and it's more prevalent and common in the Seattle stores. So just doing the same thing, like say with the mess kit, you know, to-go containers, again, these you know, sandwich containers or what have you, just using those more often is what we want to see. The whole thing about single-use utensils that's going to be a shift for folks, and maybe they don't realize this, is that the state, there was actually a law passed by the legislature where SB 5022 or something like that, it's going to go into effect sometime later this year, and it's going to require that restaurants, that they stop providing them without being requested. So the requirement will be on the food service business to only provide utensils and serviceware like that upon request. So it's going to be on you to like be in that moment, like, okay, yes, I need a fork. Oh, darn, I forgot my reusable fork.
You're like,
I'm going to need a fork. That's going to help. It'll be, you know, it will remind all of us in the community to remember to have your fork with you in your bag, or have, you know, have it at your desk. You can take it with you when you go out to lunch. I think it's totally reasonable. I think it's it's kind of like that next kind of group of materials that have been single use and disposable for so many years. It's time to flip that switch and just change the model, really.
Totally. Do you feel that working with businesses as the commercial lead, that it actually is beneficial? Because that's not another supply that they're going to have to purchase and put out.
Absolutely. They're going to save a lot of money. Now, they'll deal with a few unhappy customers. There are some customers that feel like convenience it's all about the customer, and the customer is always right. And of course, that's, you know, I kind of feel that way as a customer sometimes too. But so this is going to be upsetting to a customer now and then when they didn't remember to request the fork. They get back to their office or wherever they're going to go eat their lunch and there isn't a fork. The business is going to be upset because they're going to deal with some complaints from customers, I think. We saw that in the bag requirements, the bag ban. But ultimately, both the bag ban and this utensils upon request, they are both situations that, the business will save a lot of money, because all the cost of those single-use items, that goes into the cost of your food. You're paying for it as a consumer, for sure. As these costs begin to lower for the business, prices won't go up as fast. I never say prices go down. I'm never one who says that.
That's a business decision.
They won't go up as fast as they would otherwise, you know.
Totally. Awesome. So Nusha, thank you for that question. It is kind of confusing. There have been a lot of changes, I think, with COVID, but, you know, the best thing to do, you know, because it is Plastic Free July, is a chance to kind of try on those new behaviors of ditching single-use plastics. So a good way to do it is, if you do get utensils, make sure that they're compostable, which they should be. Put those in your compost bin when you're done. Better is, if you do use those single-use ones, make sure you wash them off and then use them again. And best is, you know, bring your own stuff, you know, figure out a way to just, you know, grab an extra fork, just throw it in your bag and you're good to go. So
I like it. Good, better, best.
absolutely. So Nusha, thank you so much for your question. And all of you watching, remember this show runs on your questions. So make sure that you send them to us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov.
And all of our episodes are on YouTube.
Absolutely. So you can definitely check us out on our on Seattle Public Utilities YouTube channel. We'll put links to the Senate Bill 5022 for those of you who are super waste nerds and would love to learn more about that. We'll put that in the show notes. And we will, of course, also link to Plastic Free July because we're really highlighting different tips and tricks to eliminate some of that single-use plastic. So, all right, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you next week. We're going to be starting a little bit later next week. We're going to be on at 1:45. So we will see you then. And with that, have a great week. And I'm Becca Fong. And remember, life's better with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. We'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.
Bye.